Hi everyone, Alexa here with the blog theduvalhomestead.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make homemade hamburger patties with beef, bison, salmon, or lamb. In another video, I talk about how we buy a lot of our food in bulk, including our beef. So we have so much ground beef. So there's no reason to be buying pre-made patties when we have ground beef and we can just make them ourselves. The process for making homemade patties is the same no matter what meat you're using. You'll just change up the seasonings a little bit. So whether you have beef, bison, salmon, or lamb, ground lamb, you can use the same process. I will have a recipe for all four of those on the blog at theduvalhomestead.com and how we tweak them, because we have been alternating every few days in the summertime, making this a lot with beef, bison, smoked salmon, and with lamb. So I'm going to show you on the blog how we do all four of those. Today I'm using lamb because we had beef burgers just a few days ago. So I'm going to be showing it to you with lamb. Now with lamb, we like to make a homemade tzatziki sauce. I think I'm saying that right. So I'm going to show you how we do that as well in this video, but I'll show it to you at the end. So if you're not interested in that, then you can just watch the burger part first, and then if you are interested in learning how to make tzatziki sauce, I'm going to show you how we do that with yogurt and a few other really simple healthy ingredients. So you're going to start with 1 pound of your meat, so whether that's ground beef, whatever. We have ground lamb. Now this will make 4 large patties because it'll be a 1/4 pound per patty, or you can do 6 smaller patties. So if you want to feed more people, you just double the recipe. So 1 pound of ground meat, 1 egg, farm fresh, from the yard if possible, 1 teaspoon each of salt and pepper, teaspoon of salt, because assuming your meat isn't salted yet, remember that you do need to add salt, and about a teaspoon or so of pepper. It's really just to your taste. Okay, and then a teaspoon each of garlic and onion powder. And then if you are making any other kind of burger, I would add some Worcestershire sauce here, or barbecue sauce, or your favorite homemade sauce. For us, we're gonna be making that tzatziki sauce, so I'm gonna save that for after we have already made the burgers, and we'll be putting it on top of the burgers as a separate sauce. Then you wanna add whatever fresh herbs you have on hand. Fresh herbs are always a lot better than dried, but of course if all you have is dried, that's what you would use. For lamb, you're gonna want extra rosemary, so I brought in my rosemary plant. I'm gonna just try to get whatever is left off here. Pick off the leaves. I've got some sage and oregano. I love using fresh herbs. In the summertime, you can pretty much just add fresh herbs to any dish and make it taste amazing. Pretty much reach in the garden for herbs almost every day. So I would say about 2 teaspoons of herbs. So if you don't have fresh and you're using dried, I would go for a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of herbs, depending on your taste. Chop them up really small because they're gonna go in the patty. Now, if you just freshly picked your herbs, you are gonna want to reserve some herbs if you're making lamb burgers for the tzatziki sauce. So this is about what I'm gonna keep for that sauce later. Okay, next grab your food processor. We're going to process about 1 or 2 slices of sourdough bread. I have this really small food processor here just because we don't have a lot of space in our kitchen for a huge one right now. So if you have a small one, that'll do just fine. You do wanna get the bread in really small processed pieces. So I wouldn't suggest chopping it, but if you had to, you could mince it really small. Just your average sandwich, sliced sandwich sourdough bread works perfectly for this. We have our own sourdough bread that I made, but I'm not gonna use it for this because we save it mostly for eggs in the morning with butter. So I'm just gonna use sandwich bread. So first you want to remove the crust from your bread slices. This is just because it's so thick, it's gonna get caught up in the burger patty. So you just want to remove your crust. And then you just place the bread in the food processor. And on mine, I'm gonna press chop and then I'm gonna press grind. They go in different directions. Grind is the setting you're gonna want to get that really fine breadcrumbs. So go ahead and add your breadcrumbs to your meat mixture. I'd say it's about almost a cup of breadcrumbs. And this is the fun part. So now we're going to mash all of this together with our hands and form our patties. So you're gonna wanna have somewhere nearby to put the patties when they are formed. So you just dive right in. Nice and combined. Make sure your egg gets spread out separately. Sometimes it gets kind of stuck. Now, as you're doing this, you might find that your mixture is too wet, or maybe it's even too dry. I've never really had it be too dry, but you do want it to be a good consistency to form patties. So if it's really slimy and wet and it's not forming well, then go ahead and add more bread. If it needs more of a sticky texture, then you can add another egg. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So if you want to do 4 patties, which is what I'm gonna do today, you're gonna divide the dough in half and then in half again. If you wanna do 6, then you're gonna divide it in half 3 times. So that is about half. And then you'll divide this one in half again. And then you're gonna just set them down on your cutting board and kind of form them. You can flatten them. I do suggest don't make them too thick because then you can't put any toppings on your burger. You know what I mean? Like if you've ever had a really fat burger, it's really hard to eat. So we like to thin them out. Okay, so normally John will barbecue these. They're great on the grill, but I am actually making this earlier than dinner, so I'm gonna just pop them on the cast iron. Well, there you have it. That is how you make homemade burger patties. I hope you enjoy this recipe with your family and you're able to use it for beef and salmon and lamb and bison or whatever else you really like to eat. Make sure you go check out the blog post at theduvalhomestead.com because I have a breakdown of how to cook all those different types of burgers, so like smoked salmon burger or bison burger and kind of the variations that we choose, as well as this recipe and the tzatziki sauce recipe on the site as well. So now I'm going to show you how to make the tzatziki sauce. I still don't know if I'm saying that right. It starts with a T, but it has all these Z's and K's and I's. I think it's tzatziki. It's a great sauce to have on hand for crackers or snack or to dip bread in. It's healthy too. It's made with Greek yogurt and sour cream, and we make both of those from scratch. So it's got probiotics and it's just got herbs, and you can really change it up depending on how you like it. Okay, so for the tzatziki sauce, I'm gonna make mine in a mason jar because that's just how I'm gonna store it in the fridge. You can use a bowl or whatever. So you're gonna take 3/4 cup Greek yogurt. You can buy this from the store. I would buy the non-flavored Greek yogurt. This is homemade, and I will say this is a little more runny than you'll probably find at the store. You want the thick one. We make our yogurt runny because I use it for smoothies, so I don't really mind, but yours will probably be thicker, which is fine. 1/4 cup sour cream, about a tablespoon of olive oil, the juice from half a lemon. I like making my own sauces because I know there's nothing artificial in it, like sugar or anything, so this is a really healthy recipe. 1 clove of minced garlic. And you do want to mince this up really thin. About a half a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of Italian herbs, and then 1 teaspoon chopped mint or dill. So the main ingredient to homemade tzatziki sauce is actually cucumber. So this is a pickling cucumber. You don't have to use a pickling cucumber, but we were gonna make pickles, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this. And you're gonna just shred it. Cut the ends off each side and then use a shredder to shred it down into your jar. So it's about a cup of shredded cucumber, I think. I usually just do 1 cucumber. So if you're writing this down, do not quote me on the 1 cup. You can write 1 medium cucumber. Then you're just gonna mix all that together with a fork. Always go check the blog because I actually have a printable recipe card. So if you have a little recipe storage container where you keep our recipes, you can actually just press print and it will all come out. Thank you so much for watching and for making burgers with me. I'm so excited to eat these with my husband tonight. If you're new to my page, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and like on Facebook. Every week I post new farm-to-table recipes and homemade natural living from our homestead here in Duval. Thank you so much for stopping by the Duval homestead.